What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about the top 10 football states. So we're going to be talking about the best talent that I have seen traveling across the country for our quarterback and wide receiver training camps, and then we're going to be getting into some current events. We're going to be talking about Travis Hunter and his pro day workout and why so many people were clowning on him for his route running, and I think honestly it's pretty much BS. And then we're going to be talking about some questions that you guys left on previous episodes of our show. So I hope it's able to give you some value. Let's get started. So I've had the privilege of being able to travel across the country and work with high school athletes from all over the place. We've probably been to, I want to say, like maybe 30 or 40 US states for the training camps that we do every single year. And so I wanted to make a list of the top 10 states that we have seen talent-wise. And I hope this makes sense to you guys. I hope you kind of see where I'm coming from on this. But if you disagree, agree, let me know in the comments. I always appreciate a good back and forth with you guys. So coming in at number 10 is going to be Hawaii. So we went to Hawaii. We went to Honolulu, which is on Oahu, and tons of talent come out of Hawaii, obviously at the quarterback position, and then I would also say on the defensive side of things. Now, what I equate that to is just a lack of position-specific training out there, and I'll explain on that and I'll elaborate on that. But you got guys like Tua's brother, Marcus Mariota, a couple other quarterbacks who I can't name off the top of my head. You got Manti Te'o from out there. Like so much great talent every single year comes out of Hawaii. Now, when we went to Hawaii, what I generally did at that time, and now I kind of have more so like my group of guys that I like to bring to all of our camps for like coaching staff wise. But at that time when we went to Hawaii, I didn't know anybody, so I was having to reach out to local coaches, and I could not find a receiver coach, could not find a DB coach. The only thing I found on social media was quarterback coaches and like defensive coaches, like D-line, middle linebacker. So I would say talent-wise, for what they have as far as like training goes, is very, very good. A lot of natural athletes from Hawaii, without a doubt, especially at the receiver DB position. Like, we had some super talented receivers at the camp who were just like, yeah, listen, all we do is just watch your videos. Like, we don't even have a trainer. Like, that's insane to me because of how much talent comes out of Hawaii. But I would say I would rank Hawaii 10 out of 10 on this list. Now, coming in at number 9, this is kind of a grouping of 3 states. Now, again, I know some people might be like, what the hell, like that doesn't make any sense, but it's that DMV area, so that Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia area. Now, I would say more specifically Maryland than Virginia and Washington, D.C. I group it all together because you get good ones out of like little corners, but like, you know, like guys like Marshawn Lattimore from out there, Stephon Diggs, they have great skill position players out of that DMV area, especially on the defensive side of things. But receivers, DBs, a lot of great talent come from that Maryland, Virginia, D.C. area. I remember we went to, like, we had the camp, we were in Nokesville, I want to say was the name of it, Virginia, which is like right outside of Washington, D.C. Like, we went and visited all, like, I had never been to Washington, D.C. That was the first time I ever went, and we went and visited all, like, you know, like the monuments, the White House, all that stuff. And it was like maybe like 30 minutes outside of DC, and then you go 30 minutes the other way, and I think you're in freaking Maryland. So like, it's that little section over there. Now, what I will say is youth football is, they take it very seriously over there. And another thing that I will say is there's a lot of young talent out there. Like, by young, I mean like freshmen and sophomore in high school. A lot of the states that we go to where we see the best talent is generally like juniors, seniors in high school, but a lot of young talent in that DMV area. And so yeah, that's why they're ranked number 9. I think very, very underrated. I think a lot of people don't give them enough credit. They love to talk about the big states, and don't get me wrong, we're going to talk about those, but they don't get enough credit in my opinion. Now, coming in at number 8 is going to be Alabama. I think Alabama, like, what I hear, at least from people that I know in Alabama, I feel like Alabama is kind of on the downward trend, but I do have to give them their flowers for the amount of talent that they've been able to produce. So guys like Julio Jones, off the top of my head, is a great example of a kid who grew up in Alabama. Like Ryan Williams, who goes to the University of Alabama now, might transfer, but from Alabama. Like, they do have a ton of talent in Alabama. I got to give them their flowers. But this is what I've heard just from people that I know in Alabama. I hear that Alabama does not have like a state lottery. So what happens is that a lot of the people, so what happens is that the education system is not the greatest in Alabama. And if you're from Alabama watching this, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I've heard from talking with different people, is that a lot of people move from Alabama to Florida or Georgia for better education and for better funded high schools, because Alabama doesn't have a state lottery, so they don't necessarily put money back into their school system. So I feel like their talent level for football is kind of decreasing as everybody's moving to the bordering states just for better opportunities, in my opinion, in my, I guess you could say, experience, if you will. But I got to give them their flowers. Ton of talent comes out of Alabama. Funny story, I was in Buffalo, New York, of all places. We did a camp in Buffalo, New York, and I was at the rental car place, and I had made a post about my top 5 favorite football states, or just a quick little thing on Instagram, and I didn't include Alabama in there. And the guy at the rental car counter recognized me and talked to me for 30 minutes about how I was an idiot for not including Alabama on my list of top 5s. And I was like, dude, I just want to get my car, bro. I just want to go. I'm in Buffalo. I'm not happy right now because I'm in Buffalo. I want to go to my car and I want to go to the hotel. Talked my head off. Literally walked into the rental car place and he looks at me and goes, what are you doing here? That's what he says to me. And I'm like, I'm getting a car. What are you talking about? I don't expect to be recognized anywhere. And he's like, nah, I saw your post the other day. And he goes in on me. And he was from Alabama, so I get why. But he was going on and on about all these players that went there. Personally, I'd never heard of them, but I guess they were really good. And I guess what he claims is that Alabama has a ton of talent that didn't end up taking it far. They have a ton of talent, but guys will either get in trouble, something happens, etc. So he made it seem listen, there's more talent than you think there. So maybe so. I guess we'll see. We're coming to Birmingham, Alabama in about 2 weeks. So I'm excited to see what Birmingham has to offer. I will say this, one last thing on Alabama. I know I'm talking a lot about Alabama, but what I will say, we had a camp in Atlanta, Georgia last year, and half the camp was from Alabama. They were the best kids at the camp. The guys from Georgia were not the best. The guys from Alabama, they were the best. And again, they told me not a lot of training opportunities in Alabama. We just watch a lot of your videos, so that tells you that it's just natural bred talent. They're not developed like in some of the bigger states, okay? Now, coming in at number 7, Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania, big ass state. People don't realize it, but it's a huge state. You got Marvin Harrison Jr., Darrell Revis. I want to say, who was the quarterback? Matt Ryan's from Pennsylvania. Tons of talent. If you just run a simple Google search, NFL players from Pennsylvania, the list is huge. So you got to give them their flowers. I really think that I think there's a lot of talent in that Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, but as you start getting closer to more so Ohio, that Western PA area, there is a lot of talent out there as well, I would say. You got Pittsburgh, which is a huge football town, obviously. Pennsylvania, not Pennsylvania, Philly, which is where the Eagles are, obviously a huge football town. I think Pennsylvania is definitely a football state, and I think people don't give them enough credit. That's why I honestly put them above Alabama, and that's why I put them above DMV, Hawaii, just because I feel like they have just such a mass amount of players that are all from there, and I feel like they're a little bit overlooked in my opinion. We have never been to Pittsburgh. We went to Philly, and a lot of talent, I would say. We had a lot of our Philly players, a lot of the Philadelphia talent that I've seen, travel to our camp in New Jersey, because we usually do a camp in Newark, New Jersey. So it's an easy access, not that far from Philly. So yeah, but honestly, Pennsylvania, ton of football talent, something that you would not think of. Okay, now next up on our list, coming in at number 6, Ohio. Travis Kelce's from Ohio. There's a lot of guys from Ohio, man, but I can honestly give you this based off of personal experience. Every time I go to Ohio, I am immensely impressed by the talent of the high school players. Youth players, so-so. High school talent, I will say this. Some of the biggest kids that we've ever worked with, some of the most naturally gifted kids that we have worked with, no training. It's pretty crazy. Every time we go to Ohio, I've been to Ohio 3 times, actually twice. I've been to Columbus once, then I went to Cleveland, and then we had a camp in Detroit, but a lot of people from Ohio went to that camp, so they traveled to that camp from Toledo area and Cleveland area, so we had a lot of Ohioans there. I'm telling you right now, it's insane to me. They're just big kids, athletic, strong kids, and they buy in though. That's what I love about Ohio is they buy into what you're teaching them. Like you teach them like, hey, listen, this is what like I need it to be done this way. They're bought in. They're very coachable athletes. So sometimes that can be bad. If you get a bad coach around them who's telling them to do the wrong things, that can be tricky. But every time we go to Ohio or near Ohio, that is the type of turnout that we get. And I think Ohio is extremely underrated when it comes to football talent, especially high school football talent, okay? Now, coming in at number 5, that was number 6, coming in number 5 now, Louisiana. Louisiana's another one because they're very south. They're away from kind of everybody, I guess, if you will. They don't get enough credit. Now, I've never been to Louisiana, but we have been to Houston a bunch, we have been to Texas a bunch, and we always get people from Louisiana at those camps. Generally, like half of our camp is from Louisiana, generally, especially when we go to Houston. Tradition of a lot of high-level, like, skill position talent. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. I mean, you got the Mannings. They're all from that New Orleans area as well. Like, you got so much talent. Honey Badgers from down there. So much talent. You guys, so much freaking talent is in Louisiana, skill position player-wise. I don't think they maybe have the talent of some of the bigger states when it comes to offensive line, defensive line, running backs, defensive side of things, but when it comes to skill players, Louisiana is at the tippity top with everybody, okay? Now, coming in at number 4, Georgia. I think Georgia, this is a stat that gets thrown out there all the time. Per capita has the most NFL players. So you got Justin Fields is from there. Trevor Lawrence is from there. There's so many guys that are from Georgia that you maybe wouldn't even think about. But Georgia's not a big state, you guys. When you compare it to California, Texas, Florida, it's not a big state. Per capita has the most NFL players. So I think Georgia's I think they're starting to be rated where they should be. I think a lot of people are putting Georgia even ahead of some of the big 3 schools, but Georgia's got a ton of talent. My experience with Georgia, I've honestly, to be quite honest with you, at the camps that we've done, the people from Georgia, I haven't been like immensely impressed, I will say. Like, it's not like, wow, Georgia's amazing. It's kind of like I go there and I have this like thought in my head built up of like what it's going to be and like how talented these people are going to be, and you get there and you're maybe a little bit let down because of that. So that's been my experience with Georgia, but the film don't lie, like the numbers don't lie. The amount of people that they're putting into college every year, you got Julian Lewis going to Colorado, like they have so much freaking talent coming out of Georgia. So maybe I just haven't seen it. Maybe we just haven't seen the talent yet, but I will put Georgia at number 4 on the list, okay? Coming in at number 3, my home state, California. California, in my opinion, this is my opinion, is dropping every year, in my opinion. This is just me from working with Californians. A lot of the guys I train, they're obviously great. I love those guys. But what I will say, from what I've noticed, is that California is getting a little bit soft, just a little bit. Say what you want about our state, say what you want about, other things involving our state, and so you can maybe anticipate why we're getting a little soft. But I feel like we're getting very soft. I feel like less and less people every single year are not playing tackle football. So I feel like the talent in like Pop Warner, the talent in like youth ball is kind of on the downward trend. I feel like the talent in high school ball is kind of on the downward trend. I feel like all the talent goes to really 3 schools out here: Bosco, Mater Dei, and then what's another one that everybody goes to? Corona Centennial. I feel like that's Southern California. Southern California is way better than Northern California as far as like talent goes. I feel like if Northern California was its own state as itself, it wouldn't even crack the list. No disrespect. I know De La Salle's up there. I know Folsom is very good. But when you compare it to the Southern California schools, the Southern California schools blow you out every time. No disrespect. I'm not trying to disrespect. Folsom is great. De La Salle is great. Pittsburgh up north is great. There are a lot of great schools up north. Don't get me wrong. It's just the talent level is not quite Southern California. I think we all can agree on that. But I feel like California's going down every year. I think they're a little bit soft. My experience from doing a lot of camps, from working with a lot of athletes from California, is I feel like they aren't as much about the work as they are in the South. Like I feel like, the Georgias, the Carolinas, the Texas, the Floridas, like I feel like they're about the work. I feel like they don't care. Like, I remember we went to South Florida a couple years back, and we had this kid who was like a 5-star. Now, the stigma in Southern California is when you get a 5-star receiver, he's full of himself, he's flashy, he's maybe a little lazy, he's just really naturally talented. Go down to Florida, those 5-star dudes are freaking working, man. They take it serious. They are about their business, and they're about their work. They don't care who else is at the training session. If they're not at the same skill level, they're bought into the work. I feel like in California, we don't have that. I feel like that's going to hurt us long term. But that's just me. That's why California's 3 and not 2 or 1 on my list. Now, coming in number 2, Florida. My reasoning. This is my reasoning. I feel like Florida has the best individuals. Best individuals. Skill players. Not so much quarterbacks. California's got the best quarterbacks. I'll give California that. Florida, skill player-wise, running back, receiver, DB, safety, not even close with anybody in the country. Not even close. Not even with Georgia. I don't think it's close. I think Florida's got speed. I think Florida has a ton of training. That is the benefit. I think every corner there is a receiver coach in Florida. I know of maybe 2 quarterback coaches in Florida. I know of maybe a couple defensive line, offensive line guys in Florida. I'm not saying some big dudes don't come out of Florida on the defensive line, offensive line. I'm not trying to talk crap. I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunities for skill players out there, and it's affordable. That's the key. I think, especially in California and especially like Texas, I feel like training can be a little bit expensive. I feel like, people have really high prices, certain things. I feel like in Florida, there's a lot more options for much cheaper prices. So kids who maybe don't come from the highest economic background can afford training, and getting high quality training at a low price is obviously going to make you a more consistent training more often. And you're obviously getting better because you're training with a high quality coach. I feel like there's a lot of that in Florida personally. So that's why Florida beat 2. Now, the reason why, and I'm sure you all saw this coming, I have Texas at number 1. I mean, you got guys like Patrick Mahomes coming out of Texas. Like out of Florida, you got Lamar Jackson. Like you got there again, Texas, California, Florida. The list goes on. There's millions, like not millions, but there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, right? But Texas, what I will say, has better teams in my opinion. I feel like as a complete unit, Texas has got good quarterbacks. Texas has got good receivers. Texas has got the linemen. Texas has got the linebackers, the running backs, the safeties. I feel like all across the board, when you boil it all up into a pot, I feel like Texas has got the best talent, at least from a high school football perspective. That's just me. I feel like California lacks linemen. I feel like Florida lacks linemen. California's got the quarterback. Skill players, yeah. Florida's got the skill players better than anybody. Quarterbacks, no. Linemen, no. Texas, I feel like it's a great everything. I feel like everything has talent. That's just from what we've seen. Every time we go to Texas, another thing that I think is promising, the youth talent is there. And that's the future. You know what I mean? Like if you're, like 10, 11, 12 years old and you're getting a ton of training, getting a ton of reps, you're really good, you're really developed, like that's going to carry on into high school, right? So I feel like that's the same deal. I feel like in California, not so much. I feel like we have some talented youth. I feel like in Florida, for sure, on the skill position side of things. But I feel like Texas, they got that younger talent down to a T. So that's just me. That's why I feel Texas. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Some people might have a different order, but that's just my order personally. But anyways, that's, again, like I said, that's just my opinion. But fellas, guys, we're going to get into some current events next. Going to be talking about Travis Hunter, talk about the ban of the Tush push. It should be happening. I don't know how you feel about that. But before we get into all our current events and your guys' questions, if you are an athlete and you would like to gain weight this offseason, check out that very first link in the description below, guys, for our AG Labs whey protein powder. I started this supplement company with my brother in 2020 during COVID, and our dream was to design a line of supplements specifically for athletes to help them put on weight, get stronger, and just honestly improve their overall skills. So guys, if you want a protein powder that's going to help you gain weight, go to that very first link in the description below. I know a lot of you need to gain weight, but you want to gain healthy weight. You want to put on muscle mass. So very first link in that description below. This is some of the best tasting protein powder out there. If you use the promo code FIRST25, FIRST25 at checkout, you can get 25% off your protein order. So guys, very first link in that description below. We'd love to get you on our protein powder. So let's get into some current events, you guys. So current event number 1. So this is kind of something that I saw circulating around. Really pissed me off. But Travis Hunter running routes, like this tweet right here, Travis Hunter running a route, looks like every little kid right after they say, look what I could do, and then do the dumbest, you know what, you've ever seen. Like, that really pisses me off. And like, here's the deal. Like, there was a route of Travis Hunter doing like kind of the receiver terminology for it is called a box cut. So like a box cut is where you like drop 1, 2, give a move 3, 4, and go. That's a move that's used in the NFL. There are a lot of examples of people using that move. There are examples of guys like Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, all the top route runners using that move. But again, it's that Colorado stigma. Everybody loves to talk crap on Colorado. They hate him because they ain't him, right? And Travis Hunter's doing that at a pro day, and he's doing it on like a 5-yard in, and everybody's like, oh, that's a sack. Oh, that looked terrible. Oh, he's just dancing out there. It's a 7-on-7 route. Like, guys, guys, you realize that like passing concepts aren't always a first read, right? Like you realize that like Shedeur was probably working a backside 5-yard in. Shedeur was probably trying to showcase that he could go from left to right and be on time with a passing concept. So Travis Hunter isn't going to run a 5-yard in like he's the first freaking read. He's going to take a longer developing move so it times up with the concept of the play. People don't understand that. People don't get that. And people are very quick to just be like, oh, it's flashy, it's crap, it's this, it's that. Guys, don't listen to the media. 99% of the time, they're probably wrong. So you just got to honestly just understand Travis Hunter is the best freaking athlete in the game right now, or at least in the draft, I should say. I don't know where he's going to go. I actually like the way he was moving. I honestly felt like I didn't see a lot of that when he was at Colorado. I felt like at Colorado, that was my knock on Travis Hunter as a receiver. I always said he was a better DB than receiver. I'm actually not sure, just because like I never really saw him run good routes. I felt like he was just faster and a better athlete, so he never showcased it. So my knock was always, I've never seen him run routes. I don't think he can run routes. This, honestly, the way he was moving shows me that he can run routes. Like, because he's going to need to if he's going up against NFL caliber DBs. So I was actually pleased with it. Everybody was like, oh, this, that, the third. And you know me, I'm the furthest thing from the 7-on-7 online training coach. Like, I'm not that guy. Like, I'm always generally like, hey, it needs to be realistic. Hey, things need to be simple. So I had no problem with the way Travis Hunter was running routes. I liked the way he was running routes. And I think NFL scouts like the way he runs routes because they actually know ball, not some freaking dude on Twitter who's just chirping. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion though, okay? So now, next current event. Momentum is growing to finally ban the tush push because the NFL is filled with cowards who are tired of getting their asses kicked by the Eagles. I think that's true. I think people are just sick and tired of it always working, you know? We covered this on another episode of this show, and I was like pretty excited about it. I think it makes football boring, to be honest with you, because you already know what's going to happen. Like, they get inside the 5, it's like, all right, the Eagles are scoring. Like, all right, the Bills are going to score. So, like, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but, you know, it is what it is. I'm excited to see what happens. I think if they ban a play, that's pretty crazy. But, again, I do agree with Barstool on this one, that people are just tired of getting their ass kicked by the Eagles because it's true. Like, 3rd and 1, they got it. 3rd and goal, they got it. It's tough to stop, man. So I think they hate it because they can't use it themselves. But fellas, let's get into your questions. So we're going to go over some questions that you guys left on a previous episode. So guys, if you have questions, stuff you want to ask me, you know, your concern, whatever, post it in the comments of this video. We answer every single question, every single comment. Me personally, I don't have anybody do it for me. It is me. So if you guys got questions, post them in the comment section below. I will answer your question and you might get featured on our next episode of this show. So guys, we appreciate all the support. Seriously, let's get to your questions. So question number 1 from AloAB5129. Coach, do you have any tips for what to do while injured to keep improving? Depends on the injury, right? I think if you're like upper body's injured, you could always do like lower body exercises at the gym, leg extensions, push press, like, you know, like different running exercises. If your lower body is injured, you could always keep your upper body right. Like, I think it's tough to do like general football drills. Like, let's say you're a receiver who's battling an ACL. You know, you could stand up against a wall, throw a tennis ball off the wall, catch it, throw it off the wall, catch it, throw a football up in the air, have somebody throw to you, like working on your hands, doing a lot of upper body lifting. Like, those things can help you. You just have to work around the injury, I would say. It's tough to answer this without knowing exactly what the injury is, but you have to work around the injury and you have to make sure that you keep continuing to work. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, dude. Now, next question. Captain 3513 M6I. Thanks, Coach. I'll be joining the team in hopefully 1 month. Does anything before high school really matter? Like, I will be joining in 10th grade and will play 10th, 11th, 12th. Is that enough to get to college? Yeah, man. Generally, a lot of people start late. Generally, when it comes to recruiting, you need 2 years of good film. I know I only had 1 year of good film, and that really worked against me with like higher level colleges. Like, I remember I was getting recruited by a couple D1 schools, but they just needed to see more of me. They wanted me to come out to camps, and you know, I go to camps, but they're just like, yeah, you know, you're really good, but we just don't have a lot of film on you. And that was kind of the knock that was on me. I didn't have a ton of film until my senior year. So I would say if you're playing 10th, 11th, 12th, if you could get varsity film your junior year, varsity film your senior year, you will be totally fine when it comes to recruiting. Freshman film, JV film doesn't do much for you. College coaches don't even look at that. So like, if you're worried about you not having freshman film or playing your freshman year, that doesn't matter. You need 2 good years of film to get recruited by bigger schools, or 1 good year of film to get recruited by any school. Like, honestly, guys, like the D3s, the D2s, the NAIAs, especially nowadays with the way like colleges are recruiting from the transfer portal like crazy. So D2, D3, NAIA is a realistic option for a lot of you. Not as many high school players are going straight to D1 like they used to, simply because of the transfer portal. And simply because of the new junior college rules, where colleges can now recruit players out of a JUCO and get them for 4 years. It's no longer 2 years. So it's a hard road to get recruited as a high school player nowadays, especially to a D1 school. So these D2, D3, NAIA, they'll offer you off of 1 good year of film. So you just need to make sure you get good film. But 10th, 12th, 10th, 11th, 12th is plenty enough time, okay? So I appreciate you asking, man. Hope that was able to help. Next question from This Is Football 4990. As a QB, how do you beat out the first string? Pretty good question. So there's no secret formula. I get questions like this all the dang time, like, what can I do to beat out the starter? How do I beat out the starter? You know, like, what? And it, honestly, man, I'm not trying to be an a-hole here. There's no secret formula. Like, there's no secret hack I could tell you to be like, hey, this is how you're going to win the starting job. If you're in a competition with a player, what I would say, number one, that you have to do is you got to make sure every day you're trying to put the team in the best position to win. As a quarterback, that's your job. Can I lead the team? Can I put them in the best position to win games? That's primary focus number one. Number two, constant communication with your coach. Position coach, head coach, offensive coordinator, whoever it is, whoever makes that decision. Hey, coach, you know, after practice today, like, can we talk? Hey, what can I do better? There's some things I can improve on. You know, like, just ask him. Have a dialogue that shows that you care, and that, like, and if he gives you stuff to improve on and you improve on those things, that builds trust and they can rely on you. So that's the second thing that you could do. And then show up consistently, man. Don't worry about the other guy if you're in a competition. Just stay in your lane and focus on your game. Focus on getting better. At the end of the day, the best guy is going to play. And yes, there are politics. I'm not trying to deny that there's not coaching politics and there's not favoritism, and there's favoritism in everything, you guys. But what I will say is that if you're better than him in every single aspect, don't leave it to the judges, right? They say that in boxing or fighting. You never want to leave it to the judges because you never know. You never know. So don't leave it to the judges. Don't let him be better than you in arm strength and accuracy, but you know the playbook better. Let's know the playbook better. Let's have better accuracy. Let's have better arm strength. Let's throw on the run better. Like, don't leave anything to the judges' scorecards, okay? So I hope that makes sense, dude. Hope that helps, but I appreciate you asking that. Well, all right, fellas, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of our First Down Training Show. We will be back again. If you guys have questions, post them in the comment section below. Seriously, I answer every question, you guys, and your question can get featured on our next episode. But guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I'll see you next time.